Good afternoon. This is NTV. Welcome to our day's first bulletin. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Respect the uniform. IGP warns police officers against indiscipline and extortion of bribes. On the Ebola crisis in Liberia deepens as patients flee and gang raids Ebola quarantine center. Also coming up, taking stock, is Uganda achieving its targets on the Millennium Development Goals? This is Ntv At One. My name is Malcolm Sime. The Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, has opened the 22nd Buganda Ruchiko at Bulange in Mengo. The Kabaka is expected to highlight what has been achieved so far and give a way forward. A host of the kingdom dignitaries arrived in Mengo for the new opening, and newly appointed members as well of the Ruchiko are expected to pledge their allegiance to the Kabaka. We have more. The opening of the 22nd Buganda Ruchiko. Let's move on. The government has introduced new testing kits for treating malaria, which it plans to send to all health center twos across the country. The revelation was made by the Wakiso District Health Officer, Emmanuel Muwonge. We have a report.
In order to bring the testing services nearer to our community, we have introduced the rapid diagnostic testing kits for malaria. In the past, the Ministry of Health policy was anybody who presents with a fever, we should assume as a clinician that he has malaria, and you go ahead and give the anti-malarials. But right now, as we speak, the policy has changed. We are talking of test and you treat.
Bamaze okusalawo okukoma okuzaala kijja kuzuwa bulungi era musaako gakubiriza kubanga kituyamba nnyo okufuna okukasinga abantu.
Now, today marks 500 days to the deadline to meet the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. And these goals were adopted in 2000 and include commitments to put poverty and reduce child and maternal death by 2015, among others. And joining me in the studio to discuss how far Uganda has gone is Robina Vitei, the National Coordinator, White Ribbon Alliance, NGOs working together on child and maternal mortality issues. You're most welcome, Robina.
Thank you.
But first of all, I want you to tell us about what is the status of the MDGs in Uganda so far.
I must say Uganda has done well on several MDGs, and the statistics show progress. However, one MDG that has not moved so fast is MDG 5, which looks at maternal health and aims at reducing maternal mortality ratio by three quarters by the end of the year 2015. But today we know that we are still losing 18 mothers a day, and we are also losing 106 newborns every day. So we really need to accelerate the progress to ensure that within these 500 days, we at least make a difference.
So there are positive trends generally when you look at it on the downstream. But where are the gaps? Where are the challenges now? What is stopping us from achieving this goal? Okay,
there are several gaps. I'll mention the major ones. One of them is human resources for health. To save the lives of mothers and newborns, we need adequate numbers of midwives and doctors and other key health workers who can really make a difference. Right now, we know we are very short of midwives. They are not well motivated. They are not well catered for in terms of housing and things to use, including commodities, equipment, especially at health centers 3s and 4s, where most of the mothers seek health care. So human resources is very critical. We also know that the health infrastructure desires a lot to be done. For example, health facilities don't have accommodation for health workers. They don't have a working referral system. The budget is very, very low.
The list is endless.
Yes, the list is endless. For example, we know at Health Center 4s, they get about only 400,000 shillings every month, and the Health Center 3 gets about 300,000 a month. That money is supposed to run the health facilities, it's supposed to buy fuel, it's supposed to pay for power, and obviously you can see it's very, very, very little.
All right, then, so let's look at some of the areas where we have really done well. Can you specifically point at some of them and say, here we have done well, here we've not done well, in terms of, and as far as child mortality is concerned, child and maternal mortality?
Okay, for example, we know that the skilled attended deliveries have increased. Now Uganda stands at about 57%. Yes. I think that's an improvement. We also know that infrastructure has improved in some areas, and health centers are better equipped, but all the same, there is still a major gap that needs to be filled. For child health, definitely there is a lot of improvement in the area of immunization. Our immunization coverage has gone up, and that's something to celebrate about. But again, I want to say for maternal health, we still have big challenges regarding, for example, family planning. The demand for family planning is still...
Okay, so of course for you come from the NGO side. Where do you see government's role in all these to try and address some of these and, you know, kill some of these gaps?
No, I think the first area that the government needs to address is, of course, to recruit more health workers, motivate them better, and ensure that they can remain in the places where they have been posted delivering services. The other one is budget. I think we need to increase the budget. The budget is still very low, and we as much as we want to do things and improve, we cannot improve things without a budget. For example, for medicines and commodities, we also need money to run the health services at health centers, 3s and 4s.
I'm afraid, Robin, that we really are running out of time. We could have another time, maybe on our night show on the spot to try and address some of these. Robin Biteye is from the national coordinator for White Ribbon Alliance, and trying to address some of these Millennium Development Goals. It's 500 days to the deadline, which will be 2015. And Africa's hard road to achieving those goals and trying to address the challenges. Let's move on. Traders in 3 arcades in downtown Kampala have held a protest over what they call the frequent increase of rent by their landlords. The traders from Gayaya, Grand Corner House and Gazaland also accused their landlords, who they identified as Tom Chitandwe, of charging them high rates for electricity. Ntv failed to get a comment from the landlord, but we have a report.
Rent is keeping on fluctuating. They are increasing almost after every month. Second issue, the charges for electricity are high. We pay 70,000 for only 4 lamps, so we wonder why. Again, we pay for toilet. We are charged 300 every time we go to the toilet.
We are working around the clock to meet the landlord so that we can harmonize this situation. No, the people are peaceful the way you see them. They are not violent, they are peaceful. And we know the business is going to normalize very soon.
The Inspector General of Police, General Kale Kaihura, has warned police officers against indiscipline, rudeness, harassing and extorting of bribes from the public. The police chief, who was speaking at the weekend in Rengo district, directed his charges to serve the people above self and work with diligence through community policing for the public to appreciate their work. The police's chief, General Kale Kaihura, added that it needs not put facilitation above urgency to work, since their role is to serve and protect.
Police Chief General Kale Kaihura was speaking at Chanjovu village in Rengo district at the opening of the country residence of Kampala Metropolitan Commander Andrew Kawesi in Chazanga sub-county. He says if any police officer does good work for the community, like Kawesi, who has done commendable work in fighting crimes in Kampala and neighboring areas of Mukono and Wakiso districts.
You see, this business of we are in is not glory. It is service. The most important thing is service.
General Kaihura also paid tribute to Rengo NRM party chairman and businessman Muhammad Mbabali, Nsanji LC3 chairman, Haji Chimba and other business leaders for constructing police stations in different parts of the country, which has boosted anti-crime efforts. State Minister for Urban Development and Gomba MP Rosemary Najemba, businessmen and senior police officers also graced the occasion. This entertainer had a field day as he was showered with cash for singing songs of praise that the guests enjoyed.
Let us now take a short break. This is Ntv at One. We'll come back with more stories.
Use White Star Laundry Bar Soap with a lemon fragrance and you'll have a fresh, clean day. Be like a star. Use White Star.
Don't disturb Daddy. My daddy is a star.
White Star Laundry Bar Soap. All day fresh clean.
Get ready to be counted. Knowing how many we are makes it easy to plan for all of us. So, answer all questions correctly. Your information is confidential and is only used for equitable resource allocation, improving service delivery, and planning. Count for what counts. Starting from 28th August to 6th September 2014, together we count.
Ariel claims to give us the best stain removal in one wash. So we'll collect tough stains, red sand, fruit juice, chocolate ice cream, to see which gives the best stain removal in one wash. We'll wash one half with Ariel and the other with premium detergent. Did the other premium detergent remove these stains? And Ariel? Yes! Ariel, best stain removal in one wash.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Destiny River. Manuela, I don't want to think ill of your mother. I don't want to. But the way she looks at me, the way she comes close...
Is Father right in what he said?
I wonder if my father really died of a heart attack, Estella, or of another reason. You were the sole witness, Estella.
Witness? Listen carefully to what you're saying.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Let's have a look at what's happening across the borders and an update on Ebola. An Ebola quarantine center in Liberia has been looted by a gang who reportedly took blood-stained sheets and forced 17 patients to flee, raising the chances of the virus spreading. We have this and more international stories. Attack happened at a unit in the West Point area of Monrovia late on Saturday. Witnesses say the gang were mostly young men armed with clubs. Attackers were heard shouting anti-government slogans and insisting there was no Ebola in Liberia. They broke down the door and looted the place as patients fled. The head of Health Workers Association of Liberia, George Williams, said the unit had housed 29 patients who were receiving preliminary treatment before being taken to hospital. Williams said of the 29 patients, 17 fled the night before, 9 died 4 days ago, and 3 others were taken by force by their relatives, and they all tested positive for Ebola. Reports say blood-stained sheets and mattresses were also taken. Ebola is transmitted by bodily fluids. The Ebola outbreak has already killed 1,145 people in 5 months in Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. Liberia has the worst toll, with 413 people dead. And elsewhere, Libyan factions have traded gunfire and shells in various parts of Tripoli, ignoring international appeals for a ceasefire to end more than a month of fighting. Militias from the city of Misrata and fighters of Zaitan have wrestled for control of the capital in the worst clashes since the NATO-backed uprising in 2011. Gunfire and shelling could be heard near the airport and other parts of Tripoli through the day on Sunday, but the fighting was less fierce than on Saturday, when much of the city was a battlefield. The battles have forced the United Nations and Western governments to evacuate their diplomats, fearing Libya is sliding into civil war. The United Nations mission in Libya said in a statement that it deeply regrets that there was no response to the repeated international appeals and its own efforts for an immediate ceasefire. Look at sports now. Roger Federer won his first Masters 1000th title since 2012 by beating David Ferrer 6-3, 1-6, and I beg your pardon, that is 6-3, 1-6, 6-2 in the Cincinnati final. And Usain Bolt ran a time of 10.06 seconds. That's on his return to individual 100 meters action in Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro.
World number 3 Roger Federer won his 6th Cincinnati title with a hard-fought 3-sets victory over David Ferrer at the Western and Southern Open. The 33-year-old Swiss won 6-3, 1-6, 6-2 and has now beaten the 32-year-old Spaniard in all 16 of their matches. but he was made to work by Ferrar, who was close to handing him his first love set since the 2008 French Open final.
1 millimetre out, and Federer makes it 6 in Cincinnati. He wins a 22nd Masters 1000 title.
I love coming back here. It's been, I don't know, 14, 15 years here. So I know my way around and I really enjoy it every time.
Usain Bolt won a 100-meter race in Rio de Janeiro Beach with a time of 10.06 seconds yesterday. Bolt cruised to victory on a 4-lane standard running track set up on Lim Beach. The Jamaican easily beat Mark Lewis Francis of Britain, Jefferson Liberato Luzindo of Brazil, and Wallace Pearman of the United States. It was Bolt's first 100-meter race of the year.
Well, it's great. It was wonderful. It was really smooth. I had no problems. As always, last year was perfect also. This year's better. The crowd was wonderful. The energy is right. And thank you, guys. It was wonderful. Thank you for taking care of me.
Usain Bolt, slower but fast indeed. And as we wind up, today is World Bad Poetry Day. It's actually the Bad Poetry Day. And you could be a good poet, but you don't even know. It's to try to write a verse. It could turn out to be bad or good, but at the same time become fun. So happy Bad Poetry Day. That's NTV at One. We're going to cross over now to Studio B, where our experts are to bring you all the sports news that you like, all the transfers and updates going on across the world and, of course, locally. Have a good afternoon.